The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our feelings about those characters, and then make them fight for our amusement and yours. I am your host. My name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as almost always, is Ken Napzok.
Happy to be here, sir, ready to fight some of our favorite characters and some ones that we're learning new characters to love. You know?
Maybe they'll be our favorites by the end. We will find out. And here to find out with us is Jennifer Landa.
Thank you for having me. There's been some crazy brawls over the past few episodes. Porg on a blurg.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Voltex on a Varactyl. There was some just insanity. Yes, because Jennifer puts all the fun visuals on for the YouTube versions of Databank Brawl. So I imagine sometimes that you just late at night just hearing these going like, the hell were they talking about this time?
It makes me wish I was an animator because I'm like, I just want to do this justice. This is a great story.
Well, I'm really happy that you're here to help tell the story and make it extra crazy. I wanted to continue to celebrate Solo because last week was the digital release. This week is the actual physical Blu-ray. You can hold Solo in your hands, and you should, in my opinion. Yeah. So I wanted to grab some other characters from Solo. Are you ready for your first combatant?
Yeah,
yes.
I've got Wikipedia up.
Great.
Okay, our first combatant is the Viper Probe Droid.
Ooh.
Here's what the StarWars.com databank has to say. Aratech's line of 11-3K Viper probe droids are used for investigation, exploration, and reconnaissance. A rotating collar assembly gives their blaster cannons a 360-degree field of fire. Viper droids patrol the convex tracks near the Imperial Vault on Vandor, alert for any suspicious activity. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's some good, just technical information about these awesome, vicious Viper probe droids. Ken, what else do you have on Wikipedia?
All right. So how do you pronounce it?
Aratech?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Aratech? Aratech?
I have Arakid.
Yeah, I see that. Arakid Industries? Arakid?
But I like...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of this show to see what the databank says.
Yeah.
So is there a fight between the official StarWars.com databank and Wikipedia about who manufactures the Viper Probe Droid?
It's close enough, so maybe it's just one of those names when they operate in Delaware. And it's a different thing for tax purposes.
It's doing business as Aratech. Yeah, for tax purposes. It's their DBA.
So I'm going to click over Legends because I don't have a size, and that's... Okay, Legends. We'll go with the Legends side on the Canon tab.
These
the Canon
are from
Legends.
Legends.
Well, the Canon tab on Wikipedia does not have a lot of detailed information.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Legend side, the height is 1.6 meters. Then the rest of it's kind of integrated droid brain, long-range sensor, movement sensor, atmosphere sensor, repulsive sensor, a lot of sensors, retractable arms, we know that, blaster cannon, and then this stuff's kind of the same, the self-destruct mechanism and the blaster cannon there.
Okay.
The variant is the 11-3K variant. That's the one most notably used on Vandor.
Okay.
So other than that, we're good.
Is there an eye color? They do have eyes.
They do have eyes, and it's not
eyes.
listed. It's not listed. That's unfortunate.
Jennifer, are you pulling up pictures?
I love probe droids. I love them. I once saw a probe droid action figure, if you will, at a thrift store many, many years ago, and it was too expensive for me to buy at the time.
At a thrift store, even.
Yeah, and I was younger, and I go to that thrift store hoping that I could buy it with my allowance.
Oh.
And then one day I went, and it was gone.
Oh, no.
So I got it later in life, but I've been a fan of them and their sound that they make. I love
your absolute Muppet Show version of the probe droids.
Oh, I want to see a Pro Droid version of that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Oh. So as an old school probe droid fan, did you like the version, the 11-3K Viper ones that we saw in Solo?
Yeah, they're a little bit I don't want to say, they just don't look quite as practical. They just look, it's good that they updated their model.
Right.
That's what I'm saying in
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back. They don't look as cool, in my opinion.
Okay.
A little bit more angular, and the arms are not as spider-like, which is what I love with the probe droid in Empire.
That dangling, creepy look. Yeah.
They look like jellyfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great observation. Ken, how do you feel about this droid?
So, okay, I just clicked over to the 11-3K Viper droid, and yeah, there is the Aerotech Repulsor Company.
Oh.
Okay, I think we're getting real down into the nitty gritty
Yeah.
of the differences between the probe droids, because I had assumed that the famous one that I have known for most of my existence on this planet is just a straight up probe droid, in that the Viper is what made the one in Solo different. But I'm not sure if Wikipedia is bearing that out.
Yeah, it's a Viper comment for the Imperial Probe Droid. Yeah. So the one in Empire, according to this, is specific model manufactured by Arakid.
Oh, yeah.
Arakid Industries. So then the Viper, the 11-3K variant is the other one. So, okay.
Oh.
All right, that makes sense to me.
I see.
Fascinating.
It makes sense to me. I don't know. It's like I have a Toyota, but this one was made by Honda. I don't know. Interesting. Okay. But this is why we do this show live to tape so we can be surprised.
Yeah, Wikipedia and the Databank have separate entries for a probe droid versus a Viper probe droid.
Yes.
Right.
So I think the difference really is the big blaster, the big chunky blaster.
Okay. Okay.
You're right. Yes.
Interesting. But there's still a lot of confusion to be had.
There is, maybe we'll get an answer.
Yeah, who knows?
I do
Who
have
knows?
a quote.
Oh, good.
Quote.
The quote for the Imperial probe droid, the Viper probe droid, is, "We have thousands of probe droids searching the galaxy. I want proof, not leads." Admiral Kendall Ossel.
Oh, yes.
There
Yes,
we go.
beautiful. All right, so Jennifer shared her love of the overall probe droid and appreciation for the Solo one, too.
Yep.
But not
Yeah.
as much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Solo. I was thrilled that it made an appearance in the Solo.
Yeah.
In Solo. I thought that was great. I was like, hey, I know that. So that was neat. And that it was scary because they are, for me, they're creepy.
Right.
Knowing that this droid is spying on you,
Yeah.
following
And
you.
shooting at you.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
All right, Ken, how do you feel?
Love the probe droids, whatever versions, including the Separatist Recon droid, which is similar, just one little tadpole of a droid. I do like them. I like the sounds. I don't know if I can call myself as a fan of them as much as Jennifer, but I do quite love them, and I love the sound. Love that there's one in Rogue One, and I went, yay, that's a probe droid, and as I should, because they're part of it. And I do love the use of them in Solo. Rewatching that scene again this weekend. I mean, good job, Val. Goes out fighting, and just these things seem tough, but also much like the Trade Federation learned, they're kind of they're not dumb, but like they don't go around her, they don't flank her, and I'm like, oh, and I don't say not like a plot point, but just like, oh, the two left that are fighting her, they're like they're scared of her. And I was like, if you just both flank at the same time, you could probably have gotten her. And I don't know why I'm rooting against Val against the probe droids. I'm just like interested. So I like that there's this kind of like, there's a reason the Empire's vaulted defenses of Andor didn't have the thought of humans, and I really dove into that moment over a frozen pizza and Solo Friday.
That's great. Yeah, I've always loved the General Probe Droid, the Imperial Probe Droid, the Probot.
Yeah.
From Empire Strikes Back. So creepy. Great noise, cool explosion, all that. I love the Sith probe droid in Phantom Menace that shows like, some of this technology that ends up being Imperial is from the dark reaches of Sith research of the past. And then to see this cool, like more menacing one, because I think that's what was cool about it to me as Solo is you if you're my age, you grew up knowing the probe droid as like not that scary looking, but an investigator, a spy.
Yeah.
Not something with a massive cannon that will kill you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was cool to see in Solo.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on the Viper Probe Droid before we move on to our next combatant?
No.
All right. Here we go. The Viper Probe Droid will face in combat DDBD. Here's what StarWars.com Databank has to say. Before being sold into slavery and put to work in the Mining Operations Center on Kessel, DDBD was an overeager WDD admin mech working on a Morsyrian pirate ship. Unfortunately, the ship was impounded by the Empire, and DDBD was sold at auction to the Pike Syndicate for a fraction of his worth. But in a chance meeting with L337, the small droid is liberated when his restraining bolt is removed, igniting a small rebellion.
Oh, well.
DDBD.
What a great choice, because I love DDBD. But here is, so I got to get an image up here.
Right.
Because I got to tell you, Wikipedia's got nothing.
No,
There's nothing for DDBD?
It is listed.
No.
DDBD was a droid that operated within the control hub of mining operations on Kessel. This article is a stub. So we need one of you ForceCenter listeners to become a Wikipedia author and dive into here. Maybe put the events of this forthcoming Databank Brawl into it.
We can't break Wikipedia so that we go to look it up and it's just BS that we said here. That would be
Officer
terrible.
Charest fell in love at the end. Yes, not here.
So not
here.
much to say. Okay,
Not much to say.
So Jennifer, to fill, you haven't read the solo novelization yet, have you?
No, but I just discovered it's a female droid.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Warwick Davis played her. I just found
wow.
something
Really?
here. Yeah, this
Wow.
is what Neil Scanlon.
He's literally, I think Warwick Davis
Said.
is now up to 3 characters in solo.
He's played half of Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Was Woody Harrelson really in the movie?
Yeah,
or
I don't
was that
think so.
a portrayal? That's amazing. In the novelization, DDBD is there's this great interaction between L3 and DDBD where L3 notices that DDBD has the restraining bolt on and takes it off, and DDBD is just like, thanks, but doesn't do anything.
Oh.
And L3 is like so full of determination. She's like, why wouldn't you do something? What do you? There's a one line in the movie of like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you should do now. Maybe free your brothers and sisters.
Right.
And that's sort of extended to have DDBD is just sort of like, I don't know what to do with my freedom. I don't know what to do with my life. And L3 is like, oh, yeah. Sometimes other people aren't as determined as I am. So it was like, hey, DDBD, I don't know, a revolution. And then DDBD is like, yeah, a revolution. I'm going to take those restraining bolts off. So there's just like this little fun
Love
interaction.
It's really good. And then you're saying, is it Neil Scanlon says DDB is a female droid?
Yeah, that's
'Cause the databank says definitely says his, uses his pronoun there.
Yeah, he
Oh,
goes,
wow.
DDBD is the droid that L3 liberates. And again, Warwick plays her.
Interesting.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay.
Who
Well,
knows?
interesting.
I don't know where this is from.
Right.
Looks like it's from a visual or concept art. Or,
Interesting.
Yeah, visual dictionary or something.
Okay.
Well, let's
Well, we can play around with that.
Yeah, no, DDBD can be a she for the purposes of our storytelling. All right, so do we have a good picture? Because there aren't a lot of pictures of DDBD, but could we get a nice juicy description of what DDBD looks like?
I'm going to go to the StarWars.com databank for this one there. An R5 D4 kind of color scheme, red and white with a little more black trim, classic kind of astromech kind of feel. What do you call it? An admin mech. So it's not quite an astromech, an admin mech. And then I'm also going to need to go to the Lego design.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
I got to get that.
That's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So we definitely know through the Lego and the concept art. So the two almost gonk droid-like feet close
Yes.
together, and the almost like a capsule. DDBD is almost built like a capsule, like wide in the center, but thin on the bottom, thin on the top.
Yeah,
like little,
almost the shape of a Sabacc card.
That's a good. Actually, that's awesome. That's a
You're
good way to say
right.
it.
That's weird.
Yes.
That's cool. Red and white.
And that's kind of description. So thank you, Lego, and thank you, Databank.
Interesting. I'm already piecing the costume together, seeing how you use the air conditioning ducts for the legs, you use styrofoam or cardboard boxes for the feet, and for the body, you just basically take a circular trash can, 2 circular trash cans, and just kind of put them on top of each other.
All right.
So that
We should just change the show to Databank Brawl and Craft. So there could be a fight and an information of how to dress up like the character.
Welcome to Databank Brawl Crafts.
That is beautiful. All right. What are people's feelings about DDBD?
I love DDBD. I love the droid revolt. And I love it even more watching it again and again and again. L3, and I got to say, I've been loving the character more of L3. Hearing Phoebe Waller-Bridge describe what she brought to this character, how she created something new, and she gets emotional describing it, made me just, she's that invested in that character. So this whole thing, because it's played for laughs at times in the movie and the droid rights and all that kind of stuff, but in rewatching the Droid Revolution, the Droid Rebellion, the excitement across all droids, and then reading the novel, that's a great moment to have this interaction between the two, and this droid not knowing, never imagining, and never understanding what I had a choice here.
Yeah,
what can I do? I really loved it.
Yeah, me too. Jennifer?
I loved that scene. I love the music in that scene. And it was just such a sweet moment where it's like, of course this droid doesn't know what to do with itself. Like this is a new experience. And so it was liberating for me as the viewer to watch it.
Yeah, liberating. Yeah, and I just love that DDBD is like a fun, silly name, and then knowing that DDBD, that she is an admin mech, just makes feel like just stuck in a just dead end job and suddenly won the lottery. That's so great.
Yeah,
so great. All right. Well, with that, then let's fight. So, both of these characters live because it's a random Viper Probe Droid. There are many specific DDBD. This can take place basically anywhere, anytime. I'm going to suggest that it is after the events of Solo, in that DDBD has made it off Kessel.
Yes.
And maybe has some other life adventures where she encounters a Viper Probe Droid.
Absolutely. I think that's a big win, and I am as you guys said, I'm trying to bring up Kessel on a map.
Okay, so you can see where else. Okay, so what kind of adventures do you think DDBD would go on, Jennifer, as soon as she gets her freedom?
I feel like it's like a Diane Lane movie where she's just going off to Tuscany. She wants to travel. She wants to experience life, and I think that she's off on an adventure.
Okay, where is Star Wars Tuscany?
Well, I mean, Naboo.
Oh, okay. I like it.
I mean, I feel like we've had a fight on Naboo.
Oh, yeah. We've
several.
had fights on most places, but Naboo is not as well traveled as other places. So let's go to Naboo. Why not?
All right.
She's DDBD has heard in her work about the Lake Country. She understands that that's a place where there isn't a lot of Imperial presence, because Naboo is not as they don't have boots marching on Naboo as much, right? 'Cause it's more controlled by Moff Panaka taking care of things. Oh yeah, who's gone by now. Anyway, but still a little lighter on the heavy Imperial presence.
Yeah,
and certainly no Hutts are going to grab DDBD there.
No.
Interesting. God. Crate is really close to Naboo.
Oh, it is?
Really?
Maybe we should go to Crate instead.
No. We're going to Tuscany.
Okay,
I'm just looking.
Tuscany? All right.
DDBD deserves Lake Country.
I'm doing a very bad thing. I'm pulling up this map and going, oh yeah, this is close to things. Oh, right. Okay.
So head
Kessel to Naboo.
Kessel to Naboo, DDBD, okay. I think maybe gets away on a ship with a bunch of droids, and in order to get to the Lake Country without really drawing attention, takes an escape pod and launches it.
Love it.
Lands in the lake, and I think, unfortunately for DDBD, she discovers that there is somewhat of an Imperial presence.
Yeah.
Because of the truth of the Naboo people is that they do have a spirit of rebellion.
They do. So as she emerges into the front, out from the lake there, bobbing along in the floating escape pod.
Yeah, enjoying the lapping waves.
Just looking around. Wow, beautiful.
So beautiful.
She hears in the distance.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
She that sounds familiar, but she just like, no, there's no way that could possibly No, that can't be what I think it is.
Have I ordered some repair parts for that that emit that sound? What is that? DDBD thinks to herself. It's like it could be a normal probe droid or is it a Viper probe droid? I'm going to suggest that the Viper probe droid had been sent out because there was suspicion of some sort of clandestine meeting of people who are maybe upset. Oh no, Moff Panaka would still be around. It's only 10 years.
He'd still be around. Yeah.
That maybe there's some meeting of some conspirators who have some problems with the Empire. So a Viper droid was sent to float far away on the lake and observe this meeting. But then the Viper droid sees this escape pod landing in the lake, which shouldn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
And I think this exposes a flaw in the Viper droid's programming, which you mentioned, Ken. Multitasking.
Yes.
Viper probe droids are not programmed for multitasking. And on the Convex train, they were going to investigate what was going on with the train, but then there was a problem behind them. So which way do we go?
Yes.
And I think that's what's going on with our Viper probe droid right now.
I love that. That's my translation is what's going on over there.
What's going on over there? What's going on over there?
What's going on over there?
Absolutely.
What's going on over there?
What's going on? Should I go over here? Should I go over there? Should I go over there? Should I go over there? I'm not good at multitasking.
Let's go over there. So so the Viper droid is now racing towards the escape pod, which is bobbing along in the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And Jennifer, when the Viper probe droid sees this escape pod, what is the Viper probe droid's first reaction? Is it just blast it because it's foreign and shouldn't be there?
It's basically like a Dalek. Exterminate. What's going on there? Exterminate. And so, it blasts the escape pod, figuring that whatever it is, that will take care of it.
Okay.
And then, they can carry on. It can carry on with its original mission.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it hits the whatchamacallit, escape pod, and rattles poor DDBD.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And
Just shaking around in there.
But it doesn't destroy the escape pod, or does just
I think it blows like a huge chunk out of it, so it's open. And I
Yes.
think DDBD gets shaken around in there. DDBD.
it's like a convertible speedboat now? It's like a speedboat?
Yeah. The Viper took the roof off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like part of it. So, which to me, that's why I asked, which means DDBD then immediately plugs into the escape pod and sends it off and running.
Oh.
And now we have, like Last Crusade, we have a bit of a speedboat chase.
She starts skidding it along the water.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And the Viper probe droid now has a specific thing to follow.
Yes.
So
that's over there.
the head of the Viper is spinning, trying to keep an eye on the politicians' meeting, but also is just skimming the water. Those long spider legs just dipping into the water, spray coming up. And I think DDBD is looking around the escape pod, wondering what she can use. And I think maybe she's also thinking, I can better myself, like that droid L3. She made herself. What is in the escape pod that DDBD wants to add to herself to use in this battle?
She needs a weapon.
Yeah.
Of some sort. And I think it's maybe some sort of projectiles that she'll be able to like throw at the Viper probe droid, almost like morning stars, like ninja stars.
Ooh, interesting.
I like it.
So it's some sort of metal pieces they're like in these slots.
Yeah.
In the
escape pod.
In the escape pod.
Yeah.
They're little, you know what they are? They're little like discs. They're
There you go.
programming navigational discs. It's like a Encyclopedia Britannica disc or something. It's how they. The escape pod doesn't have L3. It has
Right. These discs pop in and it's like, I see you're escaping.
Yeah. Where would you like to go?
Right.
So the DDBD starts flinging them with a little hand, right? Little droid hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could see DDBD's body like turns. It's like a clay pigeon launcher.
Yeah. And when you have a big blaster for a head like the Viper probe droid, everything just looks like something to be shot, right? So
Right.
the Viper probe droid is spinning and shooting and shooting and shooting, right?
Yeah, shoot that thing over there. Shoot that thing over there.
Shoot that thing over there, shoot that thing over there. And
Big boy did it. Big boy did it.
I think DDBD uses this opportunity to do a quick U-turn with the escape pod, get right under the Viper probe droid, and then I think probably within the escape pod there's like a launching device, like an ejector.
Like an ejector? Okay.
Yeah, and I think DDBD gets the escape pod with the hole in the roof right under the probe droid,
Yeah.
and ejects herself smashing into the legs of the probe droid.
Oh my goodness.
Like Randy Quaid in Independence Day. I'm back. Just boom, right.
Boom, right.
Center of the-
Smashing up into the legs, hitting
Love
the
it.
under things of the...
The undercarriage of the Viper droid.
yeah.
Oh, no.
What happens? What is... now, yeah, what happens?
At this point, the Viper probe droids, those legs, they're actually like attached to claws, right? They're
Yeah.
claws. And so, like one of those claws at the video game arcade or whatever, it's like starts like picking DDBD up and kind of like manhandling her.
Yeah.
And she's disoriented. She thought that this was going to be effective, but instead it's not. And the probe droid is like accidentally pressing some of her buttons. Some music starts playing. What is it? The opera. Don't say goodbye. Da, da, da.
Okay, and this echoes across the lake, this strangely beautiful sound. These senators who were hiding and didn't realize anything was wrong, like, what the hell? Do you hear? Yeah, they lean out over their balcony over this beautiful lake, and they see a probe droid was far away with something stuck underneath it, this bright thing stuck underneath it, and this beautiful music playing. I'm like, you got to get out of here.
The Empire. They found us with an opera.
It's a weird droid they're using. Are they trying to just... Did they want romantic music at the lake? What is this? And the probe droid now sees that and is like, I have so many missions.
Over there.
Over there.
there.
Spies. So the probe droid just... And DDBD is pulled along. Now the Viper droid is going over there and shooting random blasts just in case. Oh, this probe droid is having a bad day.
Yeah.
I think...
DDBD's very no good bad day.
Yeah. I think DDBD manages to rotate around and use her feet to just start kicking into the innards of the probe droid, trying to smash it
So
up.
she's like flipped upside down, but the scoop arms are still grabbing her, and then the little gonk droid feet.
Yeah, kicking.
Gotcha.
Up, DDBD is flying upside down, kicking the underside of a Viper probe droid. Do either of you have an idea of how the Viper probe droid responds to this? Because now this droid is maybe getting into her actual, the Viper probe droid's internal workings.
I think the Viper droid goes, hey, wait, what's that? Wait, what's that? And like a dog chasing its tail, starts to look underneath as if it's being attacked from below.
Oh, like flipping
So
a little
it
bit.
flips, so it's just going in this continuous circle. Like,
no.
can't find it. What's there? Can't
The
find it.
music spiraling through the air.
Oh my goodness.
And the gonk droid feet beat DDBD. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So cut to the politicians just looking out on the lake.
What is it
What are
doing
we
a dance?
watching?
Is this performance art?
What's happening?
I didn't think the Empire liked art, really.
Right.
Is this some sort of imperial propaganda?
Yeah.
So DDBD is spinning, but is she enjoying this? Is she feeling like she's getting out in the world and attacking against oppressors?
She feels alive. She still has her scarf that's wrapped around her. That she was going to go on holiday, and here she is
Brought a scarf.
in she's like an action hero suddenly, and she's enjoying it.
Yeah.
And she's seeing that she's actually doing some damage because the probe droid is starting to like glitch a little bit.
Yeah.
And so she starts doing it even harder, and she's like, "Oh, this is like a workout."
DDBD. I think she says her own name when she's doing it.
DDBD. Ooh.
I am also now picturing a Brian Ward poster of a scarf-wearing DDBD on the shores of a lake in the blue.
Yeah. All right. So as we always do, we must pause in our combat to decide who we want to win, who we're feeling deserves to win, who would win in a fight, all those things. This one, I think, is...
I think in a walk, it's our good friend DDBD.
Because she can walk.
Because she can walk. Because she can walk.
It's not a float.
Yeah.
The poor Viper droid just never had a chance.
I
right?
almost feel sorry for the Viper droid.
Yeah.
Talk about, just doing your job. This is your
Yeah.
programming, to be confused, I guess, and just shoot randomly at across lakes.
Self-destruct if anyone ever sees you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a fly. The lifespan of a Viper droid is 2 days. You're going to blow up.
Yeah.
But come on, it's DDBD on vacation.
Yeah. It's DDBD's holiday. Yeah.
Right.
Jennifer, are you feeling any pity or sympathy for the Viper probe droid?
No, it's it's just not a particularly smart droid.
Right.
And this is going to be how DDBD got her groove back. And so, sacrifices must be made.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like DDBD will win the combat.
Yes.
And that maybe normally a Viper Probe Droid with all of its armory would be able to take out just a little admin mech droid. But this is an admin mech droid who has found the power of freedom.
In a scarf.
And a scarf. You don't mess with an admin mech droid on vacation.
No.
So I think this is how this battle begins as DDBD is going to win. That as she's kicking away, one of the big, impressive, flapping, scary spider legs of the probe droid falls just completely loose.
Right.
And DDBD reaches out her little arm, grabs it, and realizes, I'm going to keep this.
Okay.
And does a quick little process to fuse that big flapping Viper droid arm to herself.
Wow.
Similar to what like L3 did in rebuilding and rebranding herself
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
And I think then she uses that arm to flip up, grab the top of the Viper Probe Droid's head, and pull herself up, DB. So she is now standing on top of the Viper Probe Droid, riding it, scarf billowing in the wind, music playing. Do either of you have an idea of what happens next, how the combat ends?
Well, we cut to the politicians. We're like, is that a admin droid riding a Viper droid? No. I think she's
We've been drugged.
able to... Moff Panak is up to no good. I think she's able to gain control of this Viper droid enough to where she then rides the Viper droid to shore.
Okay, yeah, like she hacks in,
Hacks
like
in.
gets herself plugged in, and it's like starting to mess with the brain of the Viper Probe Droid.
Yes, and the droid's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And that's like so they crash onto the shore, but DDB's fine. Like the droid's underfoot, and she kind of just rolls off. It props herself up, and she's on the beach, looking around, and the Viper droid's just twitching and like I don't even know if it self-destructs. It's so destroyed and messed with that it's just like like a beach jellyfish.
All right, I think that is certainly where the combat ends.
Yeah.
DDBD is victorious. I think she does a little dance with her feet and waving her new arm around in a circle, happy that she won. And DDBD, and she begins to enjoy her vacation.
Right.
What does that look like, Jennifer?
Well, it just so happens that where she landed, there's a bunch of cabanas around her. And it turns out it's a little resort of some sort. And so there is actual service. There are servers that come and she can order a drink. And beside her is the Viper Probe Droid, which actually has a very flat surface. And so it's kind of embedded in the sand, almost like a table.
Okay.
And she takes a sip from her pina colada and sets it on top of the twitching Viper Droid. Now this is a vacation.
And that is our story of the vacation of DDBD. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Not bloody at all.
No, a little bloody. A little
bloody.
Blood, little droid
I
blood.
like the hope that the Viper Probe Droid is still alive, so that maybe someday the Viper Probe Droid will come to its senses.
Yes.
And maybe have a repentance
Repentance.
for its imperial ways. But for now, DDBD is just using it as a table.
That's what I would do.
Crafting with droids. Use them as tables. Jennifer Landa.
All comes full circle.
It's a better use than destroying lives. Oh, that's great. Ken, do you feel good about that?
I feel great. I think sometimes these battles take us where they need to go.
That's right.
And this one was about relaxation and finding your droid groove back.
Yeah.
Droid groove?
Yeah.
Getting your droid groove back. I think DDBD is going to be mounting that laser to her head and just enjoying a good life.
And maybe start a little droid rebellion on this planet.
Right here on Naboo. Yeah, they have lots of astromech droids there. Well, thanks to everyone, as always, for joining us for these weird battles. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ken Napzok across all social media platforms, including YouTube.
And Jennifer, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, at Jennifer Landa.
Excellent. If you have characters that you want to see fight, you can always let us know with the hashtag Databank Brawl. We also like to thank Tony Thaxton for our theme music. You can check out his Patreon at patreon.com/CloudCitySoundtrack. And you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceCenter. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram is at Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out albums, podcasts, shows, and everything like that on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. You can like Force Center on Facebook and follow us on Twitter is at ForceCenterPod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him. I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.